Welcome back to the New Jersey Meadowlands, where it is a crisp, Rich says, very cold, 34 degrees. And there are flurries in the forecast for later this afternoon. Head coach of the Raiders, Dennis Allen, who's had to shuffle his roster due to many injuries that have hit. And Rex Ryan in his 5th year as head coach of the Jets, looking to stop this late season slide. Raiders won the toss. They defer, so the Jets will receive. A look at one of the newest Jets out of West Virginia's 5th NFL season, Darius Raynaud, signed as a free agent this week after Josh Cribbs suffered a shoulder injury and is out for the season. Raynaud actually cut earlier in the year by Tennessee after a bad game against the 49ers. The kick from Sebastian Janikowski, and Raynaud bobbles and decides to stay right there. So they'll bring it out to the 20, and let's see what the reception is for Geno Smith.
Well, Marv, it's so important that he gets off to a good start, especially after getting benched last week. And I've been through it. It's tough. When you start hearing the boos, just you begin pressing. I think oftentimes you have to go through some failures early in your career to get where you want to go. I think that's what Geno Smith, is dealing with right now.
And it has been a very rough time these first 2 weeks. Chris Ivory in the backfield. As we get underway, Ivory looks to break to the outside. He does. Nick Roach, the middle linebacker, making the stop as Ivory went for 9. A look at the Jets offensively. Center Nick Mangold, a 4-time Pro Bowler, has played through an injured wrist. And Geno Smith very happy to see wideout Jeremy Kerley make his return after missing 3 games with an elbow injury. Now, we did not see any Wildcat last week. We did 2 weeks ago against Baltimore, particularly with Josh Cribbs available, but the Jets indicate there will be some Wildcat and direct snaps here today as Ivory picks up the first down. Another gain of 9. Raiders defensively feature the return of Jason Hunter back after missing a couple of weeks with a foot injury. Middle linebacker Nick Roach is their leading tackler. And in the secondary, a familiar name, Charles Woodson, 8-time Pro Bowl safety, 36 years old in his 16th NFL season. Once again, it's Ivory, so 3 straight carries, this time picked up 2 on the play.
Well, you can already see more of an emphasis on running the football, and that's not unusual with a rookie quarterback that's struggling, Mara, but I think it's really important for the Raiders. They can't let this Jets ground attack get started. They've got to force Geno Smith to throw the ball a bunch.
Last week, Geno Smith just 4 of 10, 29 yards and an interception. In the first half, he was benched. Matt Sims came on in the second half as they were beaten by Miami. The completion, Santonio Holmes. First down and much more inside the 30. As he's taken down by the right corner, Tracy Porter. That's good for 33, and certainly a good sign for the Jets. Geno Smith throwing a completion on his very first pass attempt.
Yeah, look how wide open Santonio Holmes is in the middle of the field. I mean, this is just what you want if you're Geno Smith. They have practiced more. The receivers are getting healthy. Santonio Holmes has been able to do more. Jeremy Kerley is activated. It's going to make a world of difference for Geno Smith.
Bilal Powell now in the backfield. Kerley in motion. Kerley takes the handoff on a reverse. And Kerley battles his way to the 26-yard line, hauled down by the free safety Charles Woodson.
Well, with a young quarterback that's struggling, you have to be creative on offense to generate some yards and explosive plays. And so I think if you're the Raiders, you have to expect the unusual. Some wildcats, some reverses, flea flickers, gadget plays, anything that you can imagine from this Jets offense.
2nd and 7 at the 25. Kerley had missed the last 3 games with the elbow injury, had not played since week 9 against New Orleans. To jump past the Kerley, and he is stopped in his tracks. C.O. Moore, the strong side linebacker, on the tackle, a pickup of about 2.
Well, you're seeing some no huddle. You're going to see some different things to be able to generate some offense. I think some easy throws early for Geno Smith. The quick, the high completion percentage throws to get him into a rhythm, get him off to a good start, get his confidence back.
Third down and 5 at the Oakland 23. Powell in the backfield. Smith out of the gun. And Smith throwing end zone. It is incomplete. The pass intended for the tight end, Kellen Winslow, covered by Kevin Burnett. And the Jets, who have not scored a touchdown the last 2 games, will have to settle for the field goal attempt.
Well, you've got to be able to hit this one. I mean, this is the matchup you want. You want Winslow on the linebacker, Kevin Burnett. You have to at least give him a catchable ball in the back of the end zone.
Nick Folk on the season, 25 for 26. This is a 41-yard attempt. Just one miss came from 48 yards away. And this one is good. So the Jets take an early lead off a good-looking drive. 3-0 Jets over the Raiders. Rich, last week, the entire first half, the Jets managed just 39 yards. They go for 57 on this drive and have a 3-0 lead. That is Taiwan Jones, 3-year man from Eastern Washington, who is usually a quarterback, although was drafted out of Eastern Washington as a running back. And there are plans today that he could play some running back, make the switch and back up Marcel Reece with all those injuries. Fadden out, Jennings out, Stewart out.
They are decimated at the running back position.
Short kickoff. And here comes Jones, who has speed, looks to get to the outside, but good job by the Jets special teams unit. Kyle Wilson led the way. It's a 16-yard return off that short kick. And here comes Matt McGloin making his 4th straight start, replacing Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, he stepped in, Marvin, with very few reps and no experience. I mean, he's done a nice job. I think he was prepared for the opportunity. He's made the most of it. He's played well enough to keep Pryor on the bench. And I think this Raiders coaching staff, that they're intrigued with his potential.
Marcel Reece is the feature back. 4-year man from the University of Washington, usually a fullback, made the Pro Bowl last season. Reece tries the middle, and he is stopped by Damon Harrison, the nose tackle up front for the Raiders. Jared Veldier in his 2nd game back at left tackle after missing 11 games due to a triceps issue. And with Oakland decimated by injuries, as we mentioned, Marcel Reece making that move from fullback to running back. So the fullback will be Jameis Olawale. And the backup running back, Taiwan Jones. 2nd down and 7. Play action. McGloin has a wide open receiver. It is Reece out at midfield. There was not a Jet defender in sight. It's a 26-yard reception.
Well, the one thing that Reece does a really nice job of is run routes. I mean, he's got great hands. He's a good route runner. He's very good in space. And again, he gives him the versatility, Marv, with the injuries at the running back position. He can play fullback. He can be the H-back. He can be a running back. And they can also put him out wide and let him run routes.
And this is a guy who worked his way from undrafted free agent and switched positions twice. He was a wide receiver in college. Snap bobbled, and McGloin running it and slides. It's good recovery by Matt McGloin. Lost the yard on the play.
Well, it looks like it was a little bit hot and to the left, and a tough one for McGloin to handle. Interestingly enough, he's played with Wisniewski. They were together at Penn State. They had a bobbled snap last week against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving when McGloin was under center. These are the mistakes they have to avoid early.
And now the shifted quarterback, Taiwan Jones, in at the running back. As he has the speed straight ahead. Taiwan Jones also has had trouble holding onto the football when he's been at the running back spot. Look at the Jets defensively. Muhammad Wilkerson, 10 sacks. All 3 guys up front, as we mentioned earlier, have played well. The linebackers, David Harris leading the Jets in tackles. And in the secondary, the rookie Dean Milliner had a rough time last week against Miami. He was benched for the third time in a game this season. 3rd down and 9, and this crowd cheering on the Jets defensive unit. From the gun, McLaurin swings it out. And the tight end Rivera, and he is stopped way short of a first down. Stopped by David Harris. Michael Rivera made the catch, but no running room.
Really no surprise here in the 3rd and long situation. The Jets are going to bring pressure, and McLaurin can't hold it. He has to kick it out. He's able to get a completion to his tight end Rivera, but watch the hit he takes here at the end. He's going to get dragged down from behind.
Marquette King getting set to kick it away to Darius Reynaud. And he lets it go over his head and into the end zone to bring it out to the 20. A 48-yard punt. So a 41-yard field goal earlier by Nick Folk. It's the Jets 3, Raiders nothing. Look at the Manhattan skyline. Across the way from the New Jersey Meadowlands. Jets 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Howell is in the backfield. A rollout by Smith. Able to complete. He has David Nelson running it out of bounds. Chased by Tracy Porter. Incidentally, Rich, in a moment we will be checking in with Boomer Esiason from the studio to hear his views on Geno Smith and the Jets quarterback situation. Boomer, New York area guy, followed the Jets all his life as we see the Wildcat for the Jets with Alex Green involved. It is a direct snap. Bilal Powell picked up 3 on the play, and it is a first down. Update time. Here's JB and Dan Marino.
While Boomer is champing at the bit to weigh in, here's Dan first.
Oh, yeah, 10 plays, 83 yards, deep ball from Andy Dalton to Marvin Jones. Nice catch. He lays out 29-yarder, 7-0 Cincy.
Marv and Rich.
All right, JB. Chris Ivory returns to the backfield and takes the handoff. Picked up a couple on the play. As I mentioned, Boomer followed the Jets all his life as a kid growing up on Long Island. Played for the Jets, although he is best known for his big years with Cincinnati. And we'll be chatting with him in just a moment.
Very popular radio show in town. He follows the Jets closely. I'm sure he's has some strong opinions, Marv, on Geno Smith and Rex Ryan and this entire Jets operation.
Putting a lot of pressure on him that he might say something good. 2nd down and 8. Coming about 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. And the pass, was it intercepted? No. There was not a Jet in sight. Charles Woodson diving for it, but scooped it up. Looked like he one-hopped it.
Well, that's not what Geno Smith needs. You've got to be able to find Charles Woodson. Some indecision there. Looks like the tight end Winslow stopped. And I think Geno Smith thought he was going to continue to run that slant route. That guy right there can make your day miserable if you don't find him every snap.
It's a 3rd and 8. The Jets from the 33-yard line. Kerley in motion. And Smith is picked off. A diving interception by the weak side linebacker Kevin Burnett on another badly thrown pass by Geno Smith.
Well, the Raiders were ready for that one. Did a nice job with their coverage. And Burnett, he's just going to sit on this the whole way. He is studying the eyes of Geno Smith. Geno never looks out in front of this throw. He's trying to force one in to Jeremy Kerley.
Kevin Burnett, 8-year man from Tennessee, signed as a free agent from the Dolphins. Started all 32 games the past couple of years with Miami, and that is his first pick of the season. Raiders take over at the Jet 37. Taiwan Jones once again in the backfield. Jones looking to pick up a blocker, and he is stopped at the 35 by Demario Davis. Picked up just a yard on the play.
It's amazing to think that Taiwan Jones, Marv, is getting a chance to play. I mean, He's originally drafted by the Raiders as a running back 3 years ago, but he's really spent all of his time this offseason and during the season in that defensive meeting room studying the cornerback position. So he has had very little reps at the running back position.
And Marcel Reece returns, but he flanks out wide to the right side. McLaurin swings it. Able to complete to the fullback, Olawale. Second-year man out of North Texas, and gain of 2 on the play. Muhammad Wilkerson able to make the tackle, setting up a 3rd down and 7. Again, the no huddle for the Raiders. Just under 5 left in this first quarter. McLaurin, and that is dropped by Olawale. Brings up 4th down.
Well, that's not the guy you really want to be throwing to on 3rd down. Olawale's not. He's more in there to block. Doesn't have the hands and the experience running routes like a Marcel Reece would out of the backfield.
So this will be a 52-yard attempt from Sebastian Janikowski, who's had some ups and downs this season. Has an angle to the left. Marcel will hold, and the kick is short. The score remains the Jets 3, Raiders nothing. We'll be back to talk with Boomer Esiason momentarily. Well, with the playoff races heating up, download NFL Mobile to get live video access to exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Call ** NFL to download or go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Message and data rates may apply as the Jets make their way to the line of scrimmage. Bilal Powell is in the backfield. We will hear from Boomer a bit later on. He's preparing his ad-libs, Rich, as we pass. Caught by the tight end, Kellen Winslow, able to hurdle over one attempted tackle and gets inside the 30-yard line. A 31-yard gain.
Well, Mike Jenkins goes for the interceptions, and he just mistimes his jump, and Kellen Winslow's able to make the catch, and then he tries to leap over Charles Woodson. A terrific play by Kellen Winslow.
Jets have a 1st down at the Oakland 28. They have a 3-0 lead as we approach 4 minutes left in this opening quarter. Running back is Bilal Powell.
Easy. Let's go even Bucker.
Smith made a change at the line. Powell gets to the 25-yard line, met by the left defensive end Jack Crawford. An advance of 3.
Well, just from talking to the Jets coaching staff, that they really feel that they have an advantage with their offensive line against the Raiders front 7 running the football. They've got to rely on a couple Pro Bowlers, guys like Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw, Ferguson to win the battles inside.
Jets with 4 wide receivers. 2nd and 7. Smith fires, end zone. Touchdown, Jeremy Kerley with a leaping catch. 25-yard pass play. Geno Smith had not thrown a touchdown pass since week 7 against New England.
Yeah, getting Jeremy Kerley back is huge. He was the most productive receiver last season with 56 catches. I mentioned earlier, Mar, they're 0-4 without this guy in the lineup. He has been a playmaker for the Jets.
Kerley with his 3rd touchdown of the season. And here's Nick Falk for the extra point. It is good. Fast start for the Jets. A 10-0 lead. 3 plays 58 yards in a minute and a half. Rich, obviously some Raider fans have made their way to the Eastern time zone where the Raiders have had their problems. They have not won the last 12 games in the Eastern time zone. You go back to 2009, their last win. Victory at Pittsburgh. Tywan Jones is the deep man. Again, a short kick. And with Jones, with a stutter step move, reaches out close to the 20, picked up 10 on the play. And Terrell Pryor making his way out of the field, and he will replace Matt McGloin. Rich, this is a surprise because Matt McGloin has been playing pretty well, not necessarily here today, but Terrell Pryor, who has not played in 5 weeks, has entered the game coming on from McGloin. The handoff to Reece, and looking at McGloin over at the sideline. We're not sure if there was an injury. He did not look particularly happy.
This to me is a real surprise. I mean, we're still into the first quarter. McGloin was 3 for 4 for 28 yards. Actually had a drop, and I don't know if it's a physical issue with McGloin. I can't imagine you'd make a change this early based on what you've seen from Matt McGloin.
2nd down and 8 at the 21. Reece remains in at the running back. Terrell Pryor, who had some good moments early in the season, taking over the job from Matt Flynn, is able to complete. Andre Holmes, who had a career game last week, working very well with McGloin, goes for 9.
Yeah, this kid really has come on the last couple of weeks. Marv, as you point out, Andre Holmes, 7 catches for 136 yards versus the Cowboys. But again, I get back to McGloin. I mean, this is, you talk to the Raider coaching staff, they say this guy gives us the best chance of winning. You look at what he's done over the last 3 or 4 weeks. His numbers have gotten better each week. Look at his completion percentage, 46% the first game, 56, 59, 60 the last time out, yards per attempt. I think this is kind of premature to be making this type of move so early in the game.
Raiders do pick up a first down.
First charge timeout.
At the 30, and now Oakland takes a
30-second timeout.
timeout.
Well, and these are the kind of mistakes that we've seen in the past with Terrell Pryor. They're not understanding the situation in the game, problems calling the plays in the huddle, not paying attention to the 25-second clock. Remember now, this kid hasn't practiced much this week. All the reps were taken by Matt McGloin. It'd be one thing to put Pryor in there if you're looking for a spark on a Wildcat or a play or two, but to make this change so soon, I think is a mistake for the Raiders.
Pryor came into camp as the backup to Matt Flynn. Did not have an overwhelming preseason, but with his running skills, he won the job. He was the 3rd pick in the supplemental draft back in 2011. In fact, Al Davis selecting Pryor, as it turns out, the final draft pick for the late owner. Pryor intercepted 10 times, sacked 29 times, only 5 touchdown passes. And now Pryor looking to run and then throws it. No one in sight. Andre Holmes, perhaps the intended receiver.
Well, it looked like there was some indecision with Terrell Pryor whether he was going to run it or actually throw it. Going to fake the dive to Reece. He comes to his left. Now looks like he may run, and now all of a sudden he tries to throw it back across the field to Streeter, and he just misses the throw. And this is what happens when you don't practice. When you don't practice at that position, the timing and the rhythm and the passing game is bound to be off.
Pryor out of the gun for the 2nd down and 10. And now Pryor will run. And he is hit. Hit down short of the 35 by Antonio Allen. Picked up 3. A 10-0 lead for the Jets, which represents the biggest lead of this season for the Jets.
And they needed to get off to a fast start. And just talking to Rex Ryan during the week, I mean, that's been the problem. They're not a good team playing from behind with a rookie quarterback. But when they get a lead, they can pin their ears back and get after you with this defensive line.
3rd and 6 for Oakland.
Come on!
Here they come. Flags also come flying. Pryor on the run completes for the 1st down. We'll have to check out the flag. Rod Streeter making the catch. It's an 11-yard gain, and we will hear from Gene Steratore, the referee, for the first time.
Defense, number 96. Penalty is declined. The result of the play, 1st down.
The call is on Muhammad Wilkerson, so a 1st down for the Raiders.
The pre-snap penalties continue to haunt the Jets defense. I mean, how many times, Marvin, you and I have seen them just line up in a neutral zone or offsides, not watching that football. I don't even believe that was a hard count by Terrell Pryor.
And the Jets do lead the NFL in pre-snap penalties. First down for Oakland. Reece taking the handoff, goes for 2. Raiders are 7th in total penalties. The Jets tied for 3rd in most penalties.
Well, it's the penalties, it's the turnovers, and it's the missed assignments. I mean, it's a big reason why both these teams have a losing record. The Raiders at 4-8, the Jets at 5-7. I mean, you don't give yourself a chance to win when you commit so many pre-snap penalties.
2nd and 8. Oakland from their 47-yard line. Once again, Pryor holding on to the ball after the fake to Reece.
This is the one thing that Terrell Pryor gives the Raiders offense, his ability to make plays outside the pocket with his legs.
And Pryor picked up the first down as this first quarter comes to a close. Jets 10, Raiders nothing. Cool and crisp 33-degree day here at the New Jersey Meadowlands. There is snow in the forecast for later on to the second quarter. 10-0 lead. Jets over the Raiders in a surprise. Terrell Pryor came on for Matt McGloin. It is a 1st and 10 for Oakland at the Jet 45 as Pryor is able to convert. It is dropped by Streeter, and a flag is thrown.
Offside. Defense, number 31. 5-yard penalty. Replay.
Another Jet penalty. It's on Antonio Cromartie.
Well, Marv, you mentioned surprise. I'd be annoyed if I was Matt McGloin. Look, you get a bad snap early. He's able to pick it up, scramble. You get a drop by Olawale. You get a missed field goal by Sebastian Janikowski, and the next thing you know, you're out of the game. No one saw this one coming, and I just thought it was kind of a premature decision by Dennis Allen.
First down and 5, and Marcel Reece picks up the first down and more. Run out of bounds by DeJuan Landry, the free safety. It's a 14-yard play.
Well, I've always liked Marcel Reece. I just think he was underutilized in this offense. He's 255 pounds. He's got good speed. He's not an easy tackle on the open field. And as I said before, he gives you some flexibility. He can do a number of different things in this offense.
In fact, D. Milliner, the rookie corner, missed the first attempt, missed the tackle on Reece. 9th play of the drive. It started back at the 19-yard line. First down for the Raiders. Again, it's Reece, big hole on the left side, running to the marker, and see where they spot it. Milliner got him out of bounds, so Marcel Reece running very well.
Yeah, and remember now, this is a guy that had 4 starts last season at the running back position against New Orleans. He went over 100 yards, had 90 receiving. So he is more than capable. I think they're in good hands with Marcel Reece.
And a good block there by Kernez Olawale, second-year man from North Texas, usually the backup fullback to Reece.
Pistol.
2nd and a yard. And it is Reece. Stopped by Wilkerson and picks up the first down.
And as a quarterback, I think Marcel Reece gives you some confidence because you know he's going to do the right thing. Very smart player. He's one of the captains on this football team. This really changes. When you mentioned Terrell Pryor and the decision to put him in there, Mark, I think it really changes how Rex Ryan is going to call his defense. Going to be much more cognizant of setting the edge and forcing this guy back up inside.
Empty backfield. Pryor with a long look. Good protection. And now throws end zone. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Rod Streeter. He is the leading receiver for the Raiders, and he was covered by Milliner, so they continue to go at the rookie D. Milliner.
And the passing game is going to change dramatically with Pryor. He is going to want to move to his right, to his left, throw the ball and move. I think you'll see more quarterback movement throws from Pryor.
Second and 10 for the Raiders. Reece lines up in the backfield. Full house backfield, in fact. Pryor with play and taken down for a loss. Mario Davis, the inside linebacker. Second-year man from Arkansas State getting to Pryor.
Well, sometimes these are predetermined by Terrell Pryor. As you watch the film, sometimes it looks like the back should be getting the ball and Pryor shouldn't be keeping it. But that time he gets stuffed by DeMario Davis.
That made for a loss of 8. It'll be a 3rd and 18 at the Jet 23. 10-0 lead for the Jets. Now Reece in the backfield. And Pryor throws end zone. It's out of the end zone. It is incomplete, but a flag down. Intended for Andre Holmes. Andre Holmes has emerged in the absence of the injured Denarius Moore. Moore sitting out once again for a 3rd
Illegal
straight
formation.
game.
Offense number 68 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
It is called on the left tackle, Jared Valdir. So the field goal unit will come on. Janikowski missing earlier from 52. He is now 16 for 24 for the season, and that is uncharacteristic, as you well know, for Sebastian Janikowski.
He's been a Pro Bowler. He's not had the same year he did a year ago.
This from 41, and he has it. The Jets 10, Raiders 3 were early second. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, MetLife Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands, where the Jets have a 10-3 lead on the Raiders. And Janikowski will kick it away to Darius Reynaud, recent addition this week to the Jets squad in the absence of Josh Cribbs, who had been the return man for kickoffs and punts. Reynaud getting across the 20-yard line. It's a 26-yard kickoff return. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, it's JD, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. Complete rundown coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Jets starting out from their 22-yard line. Geno Smith, 5 of 8, 96 yards. One of his better starts. Hand off to Powell. C.O. Moore, strong side linebacker, all over Powell. It's a loss of 4.
Yeah, penetration early. It's just a good effort. I don't know what the tight end was thinking about. He literally goes right by him and turns C.O. Moore loose on the back.
It is a 2nd down and 14 back at the 18-yard line. Now Ivory is back. Chris Ivory and Tommy Bohannon in the backfield. Smith is out of the gun. Gets the good protection and completes. David Nelson making his 2nd catch of the day. Mike Jenkins, the left corner, is right there. Picked up 9.
You know, when Geno Smith sets his feet, he can be a very accurate passer. I think a lot of it, Marv, gets back to his footwork. And I think when he makes good decisions, he sees the field, and the ball comes out on time, he can be very effective.
To this point, things have gone a bit different than a week ago against Miami, where he was 4 of 10, 29 yards in that first half, and 2 weeks ago had a dreadful first half against the Ravens, able to complete to Kerley for the 1st down. And the return of Jeremy Kerley has meant so much to Geno Smith and the Jets. That's an 8-yard gain.
Well, if you're the Raiders, you better find Jeremy Kerley on 3rd down. He consistently beats man-to-man coverage, and he is the guy they look to in these situations.
Kerley last year, 56 catches. He has been hard hit by injuries this season. Chris Ivory returns to the backfield. Jets with a 1st and 10. Smith reaches out to the 38-yard line. Hey, tonight on 60 Minutes, a Navy SEAL story of bravery and survival, plus the people who knew Nelson Mandela best. On 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. 2nd down and 7. Ball at the Jet 38-yard line. Ivory and Bohannon remain in the backfield. 87 Cumberland, the tight end, goes left to right. Smith's pass off the mark, intended for the fullback Bohannon, who took a hip check.
Well, sometimes Geno Smith makes the easy throws look difficult. I mean, this is about as easy as it gets. You just reverse out and hit the fullback in the flat. You've got to put it on him. You've got to give him a chance to make a catch.
Geno Smith, who had not thrown a touchdown pass since back in Week 7 against New England, a drought of 21 quarters, able to connect with a leaping Jeremy Kerley back in the first quarter. And the pass complete. Kellen Winslow in front of Kevin Burnett for 15 yards, and Winslow with his second reception of the day.
Yeah, this is a mismatch. You know, they want the linebacker covering the tight end. And this is one that Geno Smith has to take advantage of. We saw it earlier. Kevin Burnett can't hang with Kellen Winslow.
That's for the first down at the Raider 47.
Easy. Let's go. Oh, Willie. Oh, Willie. Oh, Willie.
This is almost always a run when you see him change the play at the line.
And Ivory, a little bobble on the play. We're set for an update. Let's go to JB and Dan Marino.
A first for Nick Foles.
Oh, yeah, and in the snow here, Nick Foles throws his first interception of the year after 201 attempts to Chris Houston. Game is scoreless.
I think we can excuse that one. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon.
It's always nice if you're watching on television
I think that tells
to
you
see games in the snow.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. But isn't it amazing, though? We literally had an update on Nick Foles' first interception of the year. 19 touchdowns. We got to give the guy a break. He's had a terrific year for the Eagles.
Second down and 15, and Smith is taken down. Brandon Ross, the strong safety, comes up with his first sack of the season.
Well, you've got to be able to feel the safety. He's right there. He's the end man on the line of scrimmage, and for whatever reason, they are one short. Geno Smith has to recognize this. The ball has to come out.
A loss of 10, making for a third down and 24. Bilal Powell returns to the backfield.
Screen and draw.
Smith throws the middle. Nice catch is made by Holmes. Antonio Holmes snatching it. Played briefly last week. He started. There was some questions because of the ankle injury. Took a couple of snaps, and that was it. Sat most of the way.
Well, not surprised to see Matt McGloin warming up on the sidelines. They're going to go back to him. I still, for the life of me, Marv, I can't figure out why they sat him in the first place. I don't think you're trying to create a spark. I don't think you're trying to send a message to the guy. I just don't understand and don't agree with the decision.
Greg Jenkins is back for the Raiders and lets it fly out of bounds, and a beautiful punt. It went out at the 2. It just skipped off the grass and carried out. What a punt by Ryan quickly. 46 yards, puts the Raiders in a hole as McGloin makes his return. So the rookie from Penn State, Matt McGloin, is back. Terrell Pryor not able to get much going. 2 of 5, 20 yards. Marcel Reece in the backfield. And some confusion on the count.
Ball start. Offense, number 85. Half the distance to the goal.
It's the
Still
tight
first
end,
down.
Jaron Mastrud, called on the false start.
You'll see him right. He's the end man on the line of scrimmage. He just not listening to the snap count.
Well, what is the thought process of doing this kind of shuffling at quarterback?
I have no idea. I'll tell you, if it happened to me, Marv, as a veteran quarterback, there would have been a verbal confrontation between myself and Dennis Allen on the sidelines. You don't do that. You don't just yank a quarterback just because you're trying to create a spark and have him sit out an entire series.
And off to Reece, looking for some extra running room. So a similar confrontation that you might have with our production truck.
Yeah, hey,
prior to games.
you got to believe in what you're doing. And I think that, I'll share a story with you. This happened to me. He didn't take me out of the game, but he had the conversation with me during a game against the 49ers when I was with John Gruden and the Raiders. He said, hey, you want to come out of the game? And I blew up on the sidelines. I said, are you crazy?
I would have loved to have been there to see that.
Because you work so hard. This is what you do. And to take the kids prepared all week, he didn't do anything wrong, and you yank him from the game. It affects his credibility with his teammates in that huddle.
2nd out of 9 from the 3. Reece not able to get much. David Harris, D. Milliner combined to make the stop. Just a 1-yard pickup. As you see, 6.5 to go in this first half. The Jets getting off to the 10-0 lead. Biggest lead they've had all year. Geno Smith has had one of his better performances, certainly over the last 7-8 weeks. 9 of 13, 141 yards and a touchdown, and the defense playing well. They have the Raiders, an injury-hit Raider team, hemmed in. 3rd down play. McGloin. It is picked off. Intercepted by Ed Reed. The future Hall of Famer who has been struggling since coming to the Jets.
Well, he's
comes up with the interception.
He's actually the interception comes from the backside. Ed Reed is going to read the crossing route the entire way. He's trying to fit this one in to Andre Holmes. He never feels the veteran Ed Reed slip down in front of the route.
The Jets now with a 1st and goal at the 4. They line up in the Wildcat. Direct snap. Bilal Powell hesitated and lost a yard on the play. Nick Roach, the middle linebacker, on the tackle.
Good look at Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator. I mean, he's got his hands full now, Marv. I mean, he's talking to Pryor. He's showing McGloin the pictures. And that guy right there, I mean, Ed Reed, he is a wily, cagey veteran. When he sees a rookie quarterback out there, he is going to take advantage and jump routes.
Wily and cagey. Kerley in motion. Smith on the run, and he is nearly intercepted. Nick Roach, middle linebacker, had a shot at it.
If you're these veteran defensive players, you've got to be excited about. Here's Roach. He's going to start in the middle. He comes all the way out. And Geno Smith, he never feels it. He never sees out in front of the throw. I mean, these quarterbacks, they're making mistakes, and they're getting away with what could be costly mistakes in this part of the field.
3rd and goal at the 5. Out of the gun. Smith wafts it, and it is dropped. Santonio Holmes certainly had a shot at it.
That's not something we typically see. Santonio Holmes, the short-handed veteran. This is a good throw by Geno Smith in the back of the end zone, one that Santonio Holmes has to make.
Covered by Phillip Adams, backup corner.
And just got to squeeze. I think he was more concerned about getting both feet in than making the catch.
So here is Nick Folk attempting a 23-yard field goal. Earlier hit from 41. So Folk adds to that Jet lead. It's the Jets 13, the Raiders 3. Here's that opportunity for Santonio Holmes. Can't make the catch. I said this last week. Can you imagine walking out of the house like this, Rich? But Thursday on CBS, Academy Award winner Robin Williams and Sarah Michelle Gellar star in a new episode of The Crazy Ones. That's Thursday at 9 Central, only CBS. Marv Albert with the wily and cagey Rich Gannon, who is very upset about the handling of the quarterback situation by the Raiders is Taiwan Jones looking to make a cut. And that is taken down across the 25. Goes for 27. Just under 5 minutes left in this first half. Matt McGloin remaining. Raiders will start out from their 25-yard line. Jets with a 13-3 lead. 3 tight ends being utilized here by Oakland, including the backup tackle, rookie from Florida State, Menelik Watson. Reece is in the backfield.
180!
Matt McGloin, the quarterback. Reece takes the handoff. Matt McGloin out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. A lot of support here today, including his parents, Paul and Cassidy. 3 busloads making it from Scranton. Looking to root on Matt. Played his college football at Penn State. Not even invited to the scouting combine. Wasn't drafted. 1 point the 4th quarterback in camp. Did a walk-on it at Penn State. 2nd down and 7. On play action. Goes sideline and it is dropped. Flag is also thrown. Marcel Reece, the intended receiver for the Raiders, covered by Demario Davis. Gene Steratore looking to organize matters.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay.
On the left tackle, Jared Valdir.
Well, you can see McGloin. He's looking, he's hoping, he's waiting for someone to get open. It's just not happening. And you see how frustrated this guy is.
And he's in a situation, Rich, you alluded to it earlier, being a rookie, feeling very fortunate he's on the team. He is not going to get involved in anything, I would think, with the coaching staff.
Well, I think he's a young, impressionable first-year player. He wants to do the right things.
A lot of time for McGloin, and he took a chance. Threw in traffic. Michael Rivera, the tight end, tried to make the catch, but could not hold on.
Well, look at these numbers. He's improved each week, Marv, not only in terms of his completion percentage, his decision-making, yards per attempt. And I think, as I said, you're a young, impressionable player. You don't know how to respond. You want to say and do the right things. And you don't want to be a distraction, but he's got to be a little more than annoyed right now based on what happened in the first quarter. I mean, you lose your rhythm. It's cold out here. You have to come out for an entire series, and you've got to get back into it. The offense is looking to that position for leadership, guidance, and direction. Right now, we're not sure who to look to.
Takes a deep drop and floats one that is incomplete. Intended for Andre Holmes. Although Matt was telling us yesterday he likes this kind of weather.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's a kid from Scranton, Pennsylvania, played at Penn State, first walk-on ever to start at Penn State. He's mentioned his 3 busloads of family and friends and fans here. Made the trip down from Scranton. After what happened in the first quarter, I'm surprised that maybe 2 of those buses are probably loaded up and left.
They are very loyal. Marquette King will punt from his 3-yard line, and again Darius Raynaud is back at his 30. Oh, it is blocked! Touchdown Jets! The punt block, Antonio Allen with the block and able to fall on it. The Jets extend to a 19-3 lead. Antonio Allen, second-year man from South Carolina, which he had been playing very well. And there were some questions as to why he was replaced, as Ed Reed was signed as a free agent.
Well,
replaced him.
That's a great job making a play on special teams. They just turned him loose. He comes right up the middle. He almost took the ball out of Marquette King's hand. Not only does he block it, but he's fortunate enough to fall right on it. Pressure comes right up the middle.
Here's the point after by Nick Folk. Jets with a 20-3 lead on the Raiders. That is the first blocked punt touchdown for the Jets since September of 2011. They did it against the Dallas Cowboys. Marquette King, who has had some problems, not only punting, but in terms of being a holder for Sebastian Janikowski. Hey, next Saturday, CBS Sports puts on the matchup that stands alone. All grit, all glory, the Army-Navy game. It all begins with college football today. And the Cadets have not won since back in 2003.
Yeah, the Navy won last year 17-13. Navy leads the overall series 57-49-7. I had the good pleasure of going to an Army-Navy game growing up in Philadelphia. What a great tradition between the midshipmen and the cadets.
Tremendous scene.
Oh, it's great. You know, the president comes down and spends the first half on one side. Navy 7-4 this year. You've got a good football team down there in Annapolis.
Taiwan Jones awaits the kick from Nick Folk. Taiwan Jones to this point has been spotted at running back, as we have been mentioning. The Raiders without their usual core of running backs. Darren McFadden injured again, hurt in their last game, the Thanksgiving Day loss against Dallas. He is out. Rashad Jennings out with a concussion. Jeremy Stewart out with ankle and knee injuries. Greg Jenkins on the return goes for just 7. Raiders have had 2 punts blocked, both here at MetLife earlier this year. They faced the Giants, and you see Marquette King was turned back, and it was run in, and just a moment ago, Antonio Allen does the same. And in both instances, very low trajectory on the punt.
Well, that's not good. I mean, it's tough to win football games when you get, big play in the kicking game against you. And the Raiders desperately need something good to happen here before the half.
They start out from the 8-yard line. McLaurin able to complete. Andre Holmes reaching out to midfield. Andre Holmes, second-year player out of Hillsdale, a Division II school located in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And as you mentioned earlier, big week last week, 7 catches, 136 yards for Holmes.
Well, this is the matchup that you wouldn't think would be to the advantage of the Raiders going up against Antonio Cromartie.
Reece getting it to the 50 after that 40-yard gain on the pass to Holmes.
Holmes is a big target. The Raiders haven't really had the luxury of a big target like Holmes, a guy that'll go up and get the ball, and they've got a couple of them now, not just in terms of Holmes, but Streeter on the other side as well.
Holmes goes 6'4", about 210. He had spent time with New England and Dallas. Short set by McLaurin and his pass knocked down. And we've seen that before with McLaurin going just 6'1", 210 pounds, and Quentin Coples, who is 6'6", was able to swat it away.
Yeah, sometimes that left tackle needs to be more aggressive on those quick throws to get the hands down of the end man on the line of scrimmage.
Raiders now looking at a 3rd down and 8.
This is what you have to sort through. All the movement and all the different looks that the Jets give you pre-snap.
McLaurin on the back pedal, hits the screen. Michael Rivera comes up short, way short of a 1st down.
You look at Rex Ryan there, and I think he hasn't been as aggressive lately. And I think that just from talking to him on Friday, he said, we can't be afraid to make a mistake. We can't play that way. We've got to get back to playing Jets defense, and that's being aggressive, challenging wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. Too much coverage the last couple of weeks has been from off. They need to get their swagger back on defense.
Jet team that came up with some surprising victories earlier in the season, and they've managed just a field goal each of the last 2 games. 2-minute warning. We'll be right back. 2 minutes remaining in this first half. And Marquette King able to get this one away, and it's a good one. Good catch called for by Darius Reynaud. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Jets back in possession. They'll start at their 10-yard line, having one of their finest halves in quite some time with this 20-3 lead.
And this is just what the doctor ordered for Geno Smith and the Jets offense, to build a little bit of a lead, get this kid some confidence, and be able to still run the football.
Chris Ivory, the running back. Ivory going some pop. Makes it across the 15, a 6-yard pickup. Nick Roach on the tackle.
And really, neither of these teams can afford to fall behind early in games and become a one-dimensional game where they've got to throw it a bunch. And the Raiders clearly are not talented enough in the passing game. They've got issues in terms of the protection, as do the Jets. That's why this is a huge start for Rex Ryan and his football team.
Jets looking at a second down and 4. The pitch for Ivory. Makes a tackle across the 26 and a first down. He's stopped by Jason Hunter, the left defensive end. Ivory has done a good job. Goes for 10.
Well, Jason Hunter, his first step, it gets him. See how he's trying to seal down the line of scrimmage, and he never feels the back and get on the edge. You've got to do a good job getting upfield, not allowing Chris Ivory a two-way go. Ivory
acquired from the Saints as, for a 4th-round draft pick. Averaged 5 yards per carry as a member of the New Orleans Saints. This is Bilal Powell. Like Ivory was banged up. So Powell back on the field. No gain on the play.
Well, they can't afford to lose Chris Ivory. I mean, he doesn't go down easy. As I said, he's a tough tackle and brings a physical presence to the running game that they simply don't have with Bilal Powell.
Time running down in this first half, and they will not even attempt another play. The Jets with a 20-3 lead on the injury-hit Raiders. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS. We are back at the New Jersey Meadowlands where the Jets have a 20-3 lead on the Raiders, and the big play in the second quarter, the blocked punt on the Jets. The Raiders' Marquette King blocked by Antonio Allen, who was able to take it in for the touchdown. And that has certainly broken the game wide open as we head to the second half. And Geno Smith, certainly after struggling over the first 7 weeks, welcoming back Jeremy Kerley, that's been a factor. But Smith with one of his best performances of the season.
Yeah, how about that touchdown in the first quarter? I think that was so important, Marv, for his confidence. 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in his last 5 starts. They needed something good to happen early.
And Geno, 9 of 15, 141 yards.
Now you look at the starting field position for the Jets. They really were the beneficiaries of good field position. They've got some great play from their defense. And Matt McGloin's got to find a way to get this team jump-started early here in the second half.
And that was football like you've never heard it, presented to you by Sonos. Unusual situation for the Raiders. They start Matt McGloin, and then pull him as Terrell Pryor came on and did not get much going, and then McGloin right back.
Yeah, really difficult for a young quarterback, I think, to go through that. Now, there's always the other possibility, Marv, that this was something that was predetermined, that Dennis Allen told both Terrell Pryor and Matt McGloin that maybe early in the first quarter that they would give Pryor a series. To me, if that was predetermined, it's bad coaching. I don't see how that helps this football team and both of these young quarterbacks.
Taiwan Jones in his third year out of Eastern Washington, coming up for yet another short kick from Nick Falk, and has nowhere to go. Cuts back the other way. Only able to break a tackle. It's tough to bring down, and they get him across the 20-yard line. Alex Green makes the tackle, a 16-yard return. Matt McGloin, 5 of 10, 71 yards. I mentioned the stats on Geno Smith.
Yeah, a little bit better for Geno Smith. And, you know, if I'm Matt McGloin here in the second half, I've got to find D. Milner. You know, I've got to be able to go after him some. And I think that, you know, you look at other quarterbacks that have had some success, they've gone after Milner and they've stayed away from Cromartie.
Marcel Reece, the running back, play action. McGloin looking deeper and is able to complete. Nice catch made by Rod Streeter for the first down. He goes for 16.
Well, Streeter's going to come all the way across the formation. He's lined up on the left side. He's going to work all the way. He starts up. Now he's going to work across. And Ed Reed, he has to make the adjustment. Ed Reed tries to go for the interception as well. He tries to undercut Streeter there right at the end.
First down for the Raiders from their 37-yard line. Just underway. Third quarter. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. Jets 20, Raiders 3. Reece running hard, able to break tackles. He's in the clear. Puts the speed on. Touchdown, Oakland. What a move by Marcel Reece. Now, you don't expect this from a fullback, but Reece, in college, a wide receiver, a tight end, a fullback in the pros, although did play running back 4 or 5 times last year.
Well, they love the power play to the left because they want to pull that right guard, and there's some speed that you just don't typically see from a fullback. I mentioned it, Marv, at the beginning of the show in terms of what this kid is capable of doing. He was a Pro Bowl fullback last year. He can do a lot of good things for the Raiders.
Point after by Janikowski. 63-yard run. Beautiful block by the right guard, Lucas Nix, starting for the injured Mike Frizzell. You can see the speed from Marcel Reece. You just saw a career-long 63-yard run by Marcel Reece.
The Jets' run defense let him down last week as well. Gave up 125 yards on the ground to the Dolphins.
Darius Reynaud on the return. So the Jets are back in possession. It's now a 20-10 lead for the Jets. Reynaud going for 26 yards on the kick return. Got a sports fan on your gift list? Avoid the crowds and get free shipping when you shop this weekend on CBSSports.com. Take advantage of this special offer now at CBSSports.com/holiday.
Maybe you can buy a helmet hat. That's what you need, Marv. Helmet hat.
You mean just
to
for
wear,
broadcast
just
work.
to wear in the
Yes.
booth. Warm.
Hand off to Chris Ivory. I must say I've never seen anyone wear 2 scarves at the same time, which is how you showed up today.
I told you this is a fashion statement. How about that scarf, huh?
Oh, man.
In fact, he bought that scarf the same place I bought mine, right outside the hotel. two for $12.
Very sad.
Cashmere, Marv. Cashmere.
Second down and 8. We're just underway. Third quarter. Geno Smith on the roll, looks to throw, and it is caught. Question is, was he inbounds, in possession, caught by Kellen Winslow? And they say, yes, he was. Strong game for Winslow. That's his 3rd reception. Chris Ivory with the block. It's a 16-yard pass play.
What a great effort here by Kellen Winslow, getting both feet down in bounds.
And this looks like C.O. Moore, inside linebacker for the Raiders, shaken up.
Well, good look at this C.O. Moore. He's shook up. You watch this block by Chris Ivory. Man, this is just This is violent. This is physical. Remember now, this is not a helmet-to-helmet hit. It has to be outside the tackle box. It doesn't meet the criteria, but it's an excellent block there by Chris Ivory.
1st and 10 for the Jets. Nice play again by Geno Smith. On the roll, able to find the fullback Tommy Bohannon for a 6-yard pickup. Meanwhile, Miles Burris, second-year player from San Diego State, playing only his 3rd NFL game, has come on for C.O. Moore, who just took that hit. C.O. Moore, 3rd-round pick from UConn in his rookie season. 2nd and 4. Chris Ivory, who made that hit in the backfield. Remember, at the end of the first half, Ivory was shaken up.
Express!
This is Ivory. Chris Ivory has taken over the last couple of weeks as the #1 back, passing Bilal Powell. No gain on that play.
Sometimes when you see pressure come one way, the line's going to slant the other way. So you like to see if you had a quarterback that could get in and out of bad plays. Geno Smith to get into that, get out of that one and into a better play, maybe a quick throw.
Jets looking at a 3rd down and 4 as Powell checks back in a slot left formation. Smith from the gun, looking left, and he'll run for the 1st down. Sliding inside the 40, covered up by Lamar Houston. Could be a late hit, flag down. Lamar Houston, who did not have a good game in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day, says it was the worst game of his life.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 99, contact on a sliding quarterback. 15 yards out of the end of the run, 1st down.
It is on Houston.
Well, this is good to see if you're a Jets fan. I mean, Geno Smith using his legs. He's been very hesitant to do that, and right there, you see Lamar Houston. He comes in there with the shoulder. Can't do that.
And there you see C.O. Moore back in after taking that hard hit. 1st down for the Jets. Inside handoff, and then Ivory takes it outside, but not much. And it was Moore making the stop, just a 1-yard gain for Ivory.
C.O. Moore does a nice job filling now, and he gets some redemption. He gets a chance to go after Chris Ivory, who put the lick on him a couple plays ago.
Jets coming in at 5 and 7. They've dropped their last 2. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Handoff for Ivory. Works his way inside the 20, met by the middle linebacker Nick Roach. So he goes for 6. Win or lose for the Jets or the Raiders, they will still be mathematically alive for a playoff berth, although tiebreakers do not favor either team. But if the Jets do win and go to 6 and 7, depending on the games involving Miami and Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Miami, the late games, Giants at San Diego, Tennessee at Denver, they'll be paying attention to those final scores. Out of the gun, here is Smith to the right flat. David Nelson with the catch. David Nelson stepped out of bounds. Ran it into the end zone, but they'll bring it back on an 11-yard gain. As we check out the AFC playoff picture, you see the division leaders. Kansas City well out in front in their game. And in the hunt, Miami, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Jets, Oakland, Cleveland, and Buffalo. You see 3 teams at 4 and 8 still alive, including the Raiders. And many of those teams would have to win out to have any shot. 1st and goal, off the roll. He backpedals and then threw it away. Well, I believe it was a throwaway.
No, they're actually trying to run to the right and throw it all the way back to the left. He's going to come out this way, and they're trying to throw the ball all the way back across the field. You're going to see the tight end, Jeff Cumberland. He's going all the way backside, but Geno Smith did the right thing. The Raiders were all over that, and he did the best thing, throwing it away there and not avoiding a turnover.
Rich, this is the 10th play of the drive. Jets started out at the 28. Nice fake, Smith, touchdown. Takes it in from 8 yards away.
Well, he's been reluctant to use the legs, and so oftentimes when they've been in this formation, Geno Smith has handed the football off to Bilal Powell or Chris Ivory. This time he pulls it away. Again, the backside, the end man on the line of scrimmage. Lamar Houston, he's playing with his eyes in the backfield. He never feels Geno Smith pull the ball.
And we are seeing the best of Geno Smith. He is 12 for 19, 174 yards, just 1 interception. Just ran for the touchdown. He's thrown for a touchdown. 10 plays, 72 yards in just under 5 minutes. It's the Jets 27, the Raiders 10. For Geno Smith and the Jets, a dramatic turn from what took place. Actually, the last 3 weeks, they were blown out by Buffalo and then just 3 points at Baltimore. And the home game last week against Miami. That's been it. A look at Tywan Jones getting ready to receive. On his kickoff, Nick Folk has been short throughout the day. And again, Jones comes up for it. Greg Jenkins on the return. Greg Jenkins, a recent addition to the Raiders, goes for 25. Back in a moment. You know, that's an excellent outfit because if he wants to take a nap, no one's going to know.
So it serves a dual purpose. It keeps you warm as well.
9 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in this third quarter. The Raiders take possession from their 28. McGloin, and it's dropped by Reece. Obviously, I'm talking about many different Raider teams, but since 2009, Oakland has lost 12 straight in the Eastern time zone, Rich. Their last win in the Eastern time zone, December of 2009, a win at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's a mental and a physical hurdle that they have to overcome. I mean, when I was with the Raiders, we tried everything. We tried Friday, leaving early, leaving Saturday. We adjusted our practice schedule. You have to get yourself up early in the morning and get ready.
Reece, the ball carrier, stopped by Damon Harrison. And this is the second trip to the Raiders. This is unusual, to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. They were here earlier to play the Giants.
And I think sometimes more than anything, it's more of a mental thing for these players. I mean, we talked to Dennis Allen about it. He said, look, I'm not going to make it a point of emphasis. We've got to go out. It's not just about the travel. It's about, starting games early. It's about finishing, something the Raiders have not been able to do here the last month. They've been in a lot of close games, but they've not been able to finish in the fourth quarter.
3rd down and 4. McGloin has a first down. Nice pass from Michael Rivera. We've seen that kind of velocity and the quick release from McGloin. This is his 4th start since taking over from Terrell Pryor.
Well, if you give him protection, I mean, I think he can be fairly accurate, and he does have a quick release. I mean, he gets it out quick. He's not going to overpower you with his arm strength down the field, but he does have good anticipation on his throws.
First down at the 45. Reece in the backfield. Halfway through the third quarter, the Jets have a 27-10 lead. A little mix-up there. Reece is bottled up. Stopped by David Harris. Lost the yard on the play. A look at line judge Jeff Seaman, who is the son of one-time NFL supervisor of officials Jerry Seaman, who passed away at the age of 77 last week. Jerry Seaman, an NFL official for 16 years, head of officiating for 10. Terrific guy. Always so helpful to the broadcast crews, and we're so sorry to hear the news a week ago.
Yeah, good man. He's a great referee as well, and Jeff is a terrific line judge and a personal friend.
McLaurin able to complete. Olawale goes for 8. Stopped by David Harris.
I really like David Harris. I mean, this kid is so consistent and dependable in the middle of this defense. Leading tackler 5 of the last 6 seasons. He's responsible for that fullback. He's a little bit late, but he makes the tackle. He grabs him right by the front of the jersey. He's able to get him down on the sidelines. David Harris has made a lot of plays for the Jets over the years.
3rd down and 3 at the Jet 48. From the gun, McLaurin. Oh, it is caught by Streeter, and he goes all the way for the touchdown. Rod Streeter getting beyond the Jet secondary and takes it 48 yards. Now, throughout the season, the Jets have had difficulties in this type of situation.
Let me just show you what's going to happen. Keep an eye on the safety. He's going to come screaming down, and what happens is he literally is going to run into Antonio Cromartie. Ed Reed is reading this the whole way. It's like 2 ships passing in the night. The ball somehow squeezes through to Rod Streeter. Great throw there, but what a mishap by the secondary. Ed Reed overly aggressive. He takes out his own man.
So 2 long run, actually a run and a catch and a run. First was Marcel Reece for 63 yards, and now Streeter able to take it 48 for his 3rd touchdown of the season, and the Raiders right back in it. Sebastian Janikowski with the extra point. Raiders go 6 plays, 72 yards, just under 3 minutes. And the Jet lead is now at 10. Well, that's the difference in the second half. 2 long plays for touchdowns, and the Raiders very much back in it.
Yeah, really. Marcel Reece got him going with a 63-yard run, and then, of course, the throw by McLaurin to Streeter for 48 yards and a touchdown. And the Raiders aren't going down easy.
The kickoff by Janikowski, right out, comes up for it. He's to the 10, 15, and accelerates to the 25-yard line. And right here, an enormous fan favorite, the Rich Gannon history lesson as we flash back. These 2 teams met for 2 memorable games in 1968, November 17th, a famed Heidi affair. It seemed like the Jets had the game in control when NBC switched over to the movie Heidi. Raiders scoring 2 touchdowns in the final minute, won the game 43-22. And later in the year, Jets win it in the AFL Championship behind 3 Joe Namath touchdown passes.
Joe Willie White Shoes Namath. Love that guy.
Smith going sideline. Just a short pickup. David Nelson on the catch.
You know, I've been studying Geno Smith here, and watch, a lot of his throws are high. You see that? I like to see him get more of his weight on that front foot, that left foot.
Rich, I know as a kid you were pleased about that switch to Heidi.
NBC. Ha! Ha, ha, ha. CBS would never do that. Never.
Bilal Powell able to find running room and has a first down. Charles Woodson, Tracy Porter combined to make the stop. Powell goes for 11.
Watch the spin move by Bilal Powell. And right there, just whoop, whoop. Really nice, nice running by Bilal Powell. He's shown that he can run up inside between the tackles as well.
Coming up on 5 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. Powell gets the call, able to spin, and barely made it past the line of scrimmage.
Almost came back with the very same run. A lot of times we see offensive coordinators do that. I mean, if you hit them on a big run up inside, come right back to it. Make sure they have answers. Make sure they have tools in their toolbox to make the adjustments.
Now Powell and Ivory on the field for the together in a rare situation.
Oh, should have pitched it.
who was the intended handoff, but Smith able to hold on and stopped by Burnett, Kevin Burnett, on the tackle.
Well, they do a nice job here. Go ahead and run it, and then freeze it, because what happens is you see the corner come off the edge. He's ready for the pitch man, and the linebacker is going to take the quarterback. Really good adjustment there by the Raiders on the fly.
3rd and 9 from the 42, and a timeout is called by the Raiders. 4 minutes, 4 seconds to play. In the third, 10-point Jet lead. Jets looking at a 3rd down and 9. Geno Smith, 13 of 20, 179 yards. A week ago against Miami. Had a lackluster first half, was benched. Matt Sims came on.
Well, Geno has to understand, Marv, situational football. When you've got a lead like this, you got to be smart in these situations. 3rd and 9, it's not there, throw it away.
This week, don't miss the show that's in a league by itself with guys who take out all 32 teams and each other every week. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, along with the artistry of NFL films. Inside the NFL, the show the pros watch Wednesday at 9 only on Showtime. The running back is Powell. Here they come, and it sets up the screen for Powell to the 40. And bumped out just shy of the 35 by the strong safety Brandon Ross.
Well, they had the perfect play called against the blitz. Charles Woodson's going to come. He's going to come off the edge, and all they're going to do is slip the back out in the screen. I mean, it was just a perfect call by Marty Morningwig, and Bilal Powell does a good job bluffing and then getting out in the screen.
It's a 24-yard play. And the Jets get the favorable spot off the screen pass to Powell, placed at the Oakland 34-yard line.
A little bit of good fortune there for the Jets.
Smith on the roll and threw it away. Santonio Holmes well covered. Mike Jenkins, the left corner, was right there for the Raiders.
Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator, I think he's done a really good job with the quarterback situation. I mean, it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been easy here the last couple of weeks, but I think he's done a nice job adjusting the game plan to really help Geno Smith, give him opportunities and not put all the pressure on him in certain situations.
Morningwig in his first season with the Jets, replacing Tony Sperano, who is now with the Raider coaching staff as Ivory gets the call. Update time. Let's go to JB.
And Steelers striking swiftly.
Yes, they have, and Ryan Tannehill backed up on his goal line. He does not see Troy Polamalu. He gets picked off. Troy Polamalu returns this for a touchdown. They review it. Yes, it is a touchdown, 19 yards, 21-17 Pittsburgh.
2 Pittsburgh scores within 53 seconds. Back to Marv Albert.
All right, JB, 3rd down and 9. The Jets inside the Raider 35-yard line. Jets 27, Raiders 17. 4 wideouts being shown by the Jets. Good bobble there by Smith, able to control, and it is incomplete, intended for Kerley.
Well, I really felt when they went to empty and they got Winslow from the line of scrimmage, he would go there. Instead, he goes to Jeremy Kerley. Got to make a better throw here. He's got a chance if you put it on him, but that was not the best throw we've seen from Geno Smith.
So the field goal unit will come on. Nick Folk has hit from 41, from 23, and from 51. His long this year, a 48-yarder. And this one is perfect. Just under 3 to go in the third. 9 plays, 42 yards, 3:31, leading to the long field goal by Nick Folk. And for Geno Smith, Still a ways to go, but a sigh of relief after a lackluster 7 weeks. Certainly one of his better games of the season.
Oh, no question about it, Marv. I mean, the kid was benched last week against the Dolphins. We were here to see it, and he went 130 pass attempts without a touchdown. It was the longest active streak in the league, and I really felt like it was so important to get him off to a good start. They were able to do that in the first quarter.
This is Taiwan Jones awaiting the kick from Nick Folk. Taiwan Jones considered the backup running back in light of all the injuries. The entire running back core is out for the Raiders, and again, it is taken by Greg Jenkins. Greg Jenkins working his way along the far sideline, goes for 26. Tomorrow on CBS, Melissa McCarthy, Billy Gardell star in a new episode of the hit comedy Mike and Molly. That's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Raiders now trailing 30-17 as they start out from their 26-yard line. The running back is Marcel Reece. Long count. McGloin looking to throw, goes underneath for Reece. Has the first down. Goes for 12.
Well, they're going to clear everybody out, and they're going to let Marcel Reece. He's just going to sneak up inside, and he's going to run a little option route on the linebacker. McGloin just checks it down to him and allows Marcel Reece to do the rest.
Marcel Reece, feature back here this afternoon for the Raiders. 13 carries, 108 yards, 63 coming on that touchdown run, a career high for Reece.
What is it? Why not?
And again, it is Reece. And this time he is bottled up. Kendrick Ellis, the nose tackle, leading the way. No gain.
You know, I often wonder when you see a day like today for Marcel Reece in the rushing attack, why this guy, Marv, wouldn't be getting more opportunities. Look at that, 14 carries, 108 yards. He's been very good in the passing game as well. You know, I realize that Rashad Jennings has been a nice addition with the injuries to McFadden, but I really think this team has to move on from Darren McFadden. He has missed way too many games over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
I know about 3 weeks ago as Taiwan Jones takes that swing pass and battles his way across the 40. They felt that Reece should be more of a focal point. Once again, update time. Here's JB and Dan Marino.
Dan, what word did you use about Luck and the Colts?
Oh, he's the comeback kid, and he's coming back on Cincinnati. He looks for LaVon Brazill over the middle. Look at all the tackles this kid breaks. 5, 6 tackles, gets into the end zone, 19-yard touchdown, 21-14, Cincinnati.
I'm sure Rich Gannon would tell us arm tackling does not get it back tomorrow.
Well, it's like Coach Cowher said, JB, you got to see what you hit. That's some poor tackling right there. Holy smokes.
Down to 35 seconds left, third quarter, 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. McGloin able to complete for the first down. He has Andre Holmes. Picks up 14. DeJuan Landry makes the stop.
Well, this is a 3-man rush. They're going to drop 8 in coverage, and McGloin just squeezes this one in between the corner and the safety.
First down for Oakland at the Jet 45, and that'll do it for this third quarter. The Jets 30, the Raiders 17. Back to the Meadowlands after this message and a word from your local station. On to the fourth quarter with the Jets in front of the Raiders 30-17. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. Raiders first and 10 at the Jet 45-yard line. Matt McGloin has responded well after he was surprisingly pulled with the move made to Terrell Pryor. Here's McGloin running out of trouble. McGloin with lots of space puts a move on and slides inside the The 25, he looked like a tailback. Missed tackle, though, by David Harris, helping matters.
Well, this kid loves playing football. This is really a nice job stepping up. It's not there. Now watch this fake. David Harris, whoo! I mean, he's not the fastest guy. He's certainly not Terrell Pryor, but he's very resourceful. And you mentioned, Marv, he has really responded well here in the second half. He was 7 of 8, 112 yards and a touchdown in the third quarter.
First down at the Jet 25-yard line. Reece gets the call. Always tough to bring down. Marcel Reece, who's had an outstanding game. Tackle by Damon Harrison. Went for 4. And that brings up a second down and 6. Raiders 4 and 8. They dropped their last 2, 4 of the last 5. Contingent from Scranton hanging in. 3 busloads making it from Matt McGloin's hometown, including his parents, Paul and Kathy. Hoping for some late theatrics as McGloin sets up, throws. Incomplete, intended for Reece. And a good play by McGloin, throwing to the outside to avoid a possible interception by Harris.
Yeah, it was really a two-man route. They were trying to throw the ball down the field. It wasn't there. Reece sneaks out late, and he just throws it away to avoid a negative play. Talking about the job that coordinators have done, how about Greg Olson of the Raiders? I mean, he had to call plays earlier for Terrell Pryor, who's making, really, he was an inexperienced quarterback. Now they make the change about a month ago to Matt McGloin, a rookie. Done a nice job managing the game with young quarterbacks.
It's a 3rd and 7 at the Jet 22. McGloin with a long look. Throws on the run for the end zone. It is incomplete. Intended for Jacoby Ford, who felt there should have been a call.
Well, protection has been plenty good today for Matt McGloin. He just has, look at that tight end and the fullback back in there protecting. A lot of 7-man protections, but there's just nowhere to go with it. Good coverage down the field. He's trying to make a safe throw. Antonio Cromartie right there on Jacoby Ford.
So here's Sebastian Janikowski, one of the most accurate long-range kickers, although that has not been the case thus far today. This from 40, and it's good. He is 2 of 3 on the day. Raiders hanging around, down by 10, early 4th. Rookie from Penn State, Matt McGloin, in a chat with the coaching staff, making his 4th straight start, replacing Terrell Pryor, although Pryor did play some back in the first half. This is Darius Renaud, signed as a free agent this week after the injury suffered by Josh Cribbs last week. Janikowski puts it on the ground. Alex Green stumbled and then was able to recover, lost his balance, goes for 22. So the Jets back to the offense. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Jets start out from their 27. Bilal Powell in the backfield. Geno Smith, 14 of 23, 203 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Powell, no gain on the play.
You know, you look at where the Jets are right now, Marv, with a 10-point lead here in the 4th quarter. They got to be able to finish. And if you're Geno Smith, you've got to be smart. You got to understand who you are as an offense right now and how you can win. He's not surrounded by dynamic talent, and he has to understand that he's got to be smart in these situations. Defense is playing well, just can't turn the football over.
Looking at a second down and 10. Throws that jump pass. He has Kerley well short of a first down as Charles Woodson is right there. Kerley picked up 6. Did pick up some talent with the return of Jeremy Kerley had missed the 3 games with the injured elbow and has made a difference here today, particularly early back in the first quarter.
Well, he's the leading receiver, no question about it. And I just think getting some of the timing and rhythm back in the passing game, a big reason why they haven't had it is they haven't practiced enough together. You got a young quarterback, some veteran receivers that have been on the shelf here the last month.
3rd down and 4. Smith getting the protection and has the first down as he hits Antonio Holmes. It's an 11-yard advance.
Well, Santonio Holmes, he's just going to hook up right over the numbers there between the 2 linebackers. And we talk how important it is when you have a young quarterback for guys like Santonio Holmes, Jeremy Kerley, to be on the practice field on Wednesday and Thursday, not just Friday. This young quarterback needs all the reps he can get.
3rd catch for Holmes. Ivory.
That ball came out.
Ball loose. Raiders say they have it.
Well, you never know who has it until they are able to pull everybody off. A lot of times you have it, but by the time the pile is separated, you don't have it. That's why you got people in there pulling it, whoever has it on the bottom of the pile.
One of the toughest calls that an official has to make.
Well, they're still fighting for it.
Because the play never stops. It just continues.
The officials are still trying to figure it out.
And they say jet ball. The referee Hughes Steratore says no, the Jets maintain possession.
You saw the line judge in there, Jeff Seaman. He was the one who made. Well, this ball clearly comes out. I think it's Nick Roach is going to get in there and rip it. Charles Woodson's always. Well, look right there. To see the ball's on the ground, and now when it's there, you got to start fighting.
Looks like Ivory, who fumbled, was able to recover. Somehow he scrambled to cover it up. Ends up as a 5-yard pickup. 2nd down and 5 for the Jets. And this is Ivory again for no gain.
I hate watching offensive football, and I see him run plays that have no chance. You run a ball into an 8-man front when you only have 7 to block. Somebody is going to make a play in the backfield. And when you have young quarterbacks running your systems, you have a lot of call it and run it plays where you're not changing plays at the line of scrimmage because these guys simply don't have the experience to do that in critical situations.
3rd and 5 for the Jets. 5 minutes into the 4th quarter.
Comes Charles Woodson again off the top of your screen.
And on the draw, Smith has the first down and more. Puts the speed on. Geno Smith inside the 15-yard line. Met by Brandon Ross, the Raiders' strong safety. Geno hearing it from the crowd as he goes for 32.
And remember that conversation we had with him on Friday in the production meetings about using his legs more. This is something that he can do and can really hurt a defense. He can make some first downs in critical situations. And you're seeing a guy that I think, Marv, has really responded well this week to what happened last week, the benching. He didn't sulk. He said and did the right things. He got right back to work. He had a great week of preparation, and it's shown in his performance.
First down at the Oakland 20, and the flags come flying. Looks to be Pat Sims.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It is the nose tackle for the Raiders, Pat Sims, who is back at that position after moving to defensive tackle due to the injury suffered by Jason Hunter. They had a whole shuffle on that front 4.
Boy, you got to be so disciplined in your rush lanes when you play against a quarterback like Geno Smith. I mean, and again, he's been in weeks past, he's been hesitant to run the football. He's done a much better job of it today, and that's good coaching from the Jets.
And he's carried 5 times for 50 yards, including a touchdown. Ivory bouncing off defenders, keeps going, and he's in for the score. What a spectacular run for 15 yards and a touchdown by Chris Ivory.
Well, he's one of the best in football at yards after contact. He's averaging almost 3 yards after the initial contact. And you'll watch us talk about running with some determination. There's 2 missed tackles. There's 3 missed tackles. There's 4, 5. I mean, what a great effort by Chris Ivory.
In his 4th year out of Tiffin University in Tiffin, Ohio. Rich, as you know, it's the Dragons of Tiffin.
I knew that.
Here's Nick Falk for the extra point. So the Jets with a 36-20 lead. Geno Smith with the long run. Chris Ivory refusing to go down. Just under 9 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter as Nick Falk gets set to kick it away to the combination of Tywan Jones and Greg Jenkins. Well, last week Jenkins, playing only in his 2nd NFL game, had that early recovery for a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. Another very short kick. Wally, backup fullback, able to make the catch and return it for 5, and we will take a break. It has certainly been an action-packed second half. Every possession this half has resulted in a score for each team. Total of 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
Some poor tackling, really, by both secondaries.
McGloin to throw, and he is taken down. Back at the 15, Calvin Pace with his 8th sack of the season.
Well, Calvin Pace is going to come from McGloin's right side. He never feels him. He steps up, and you can see Tony Pasho. She just gets pushed back right into the lap of Matt McGloin.
First sack of the day for the Jets, and for the Jets, with 37 points, the most points they have scored since week 1 of, last season, when they opened up here at MetLife Stadium with a 48-28 win over the Buffalo Bills. Streeter on the reception. Goes for 9. Stopped by Demario Davis.
I'm really surprised the Raiders are huddling here, Marv. I mean, you're down by 3 scores. I mean, there's got to be more of a sense of urgency. I mean, I'd really be in a 2-minute mode right here if I were the Raiders.
3rd down and 7 from just inside the 25. Just 8 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. McGloin from the gun. Throws a rainbow pass that is caught again by Streeter, who is the Raiders' leading receiver. Antonio Allen on the tackle.
Well, the one thing about these Raider receivers is they'll go up and get the football. McGloin just kind of heaves this one out there, and when you look at it, Antonio Allen is right there to make the play, but Streeter just rips it away from him.
16-yard gain and a 1st down. Here's Reece running to his right, reaching out to the 45-yard line, and a flag down. It is in the secondary.
Defense, 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
You can't do that.
No, you can try. Usually you get caught. They have officials out there that count. Make sure you don't have 12 on the field. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What happened was they tried to make the substitution, and again, you've got a communication error on the sidelines.
So it sets up a 1st down and 5. McGloin lost the handle and then able to recover. Slipped out of his hand.
Well, you know, it happens. You get a slick ball sometimes. You get a little bit of moisture on it. As he goes to cock it, it comes right out of his hands. It just slips. It's happened to me, unfortunately. It's a bad feeling. There's not a lot you can do about it. You just hope it doesn't come in a critical situation. Now they're backed up at 2nd and 21.
Loss of 15. So it has happened to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, too many times. You don't want to find yourself in 2nd and 3rd and long situations against Rex Ryan.
2nd and 21, and that pass off the mark, intended for the tight end, Michael Rivera.
Well, Rivera is going to be coming back. He's working right in the middle of the field, and that ball comes out too hot. He can't make that adjustment on the move.
For the Jets, their most impressive effort since back in early November when they came up with the surprising victory here at home over New Orleans. But certainly you have to measure the quality of opposition they're going up against today, a team that is not only 4-8 but hard hit by injuries, particularly in the running back department. McGloin backpedaled and throws. It is caught but short of a first down. Again, it is Streeter. That's his 6th reception. He's over 100 yards.
4-down territory, Marv. They've got to go for it here. Again, a resourceful play by McGloin to find Streeter. And now they find themselves in a 4th and 4 situation, 4th and 5.
16-yard pass play. Raiders to the line for this 4th down and 5 with just under 6 to play in the 4th.
Well, in a critical situation against Rex Ryan, you're always thinking pressure. And here it comes.
Yep, here is that pressure as McGloin floats one along the sideline, and it is broken up. Intended for Andre Holmes, but a penalty flag is down. He was covered by Antonio Cromartie.
Antonio Cromartie never finds the ball.
Defense, number 31, spotted a foul, automatic, first down.
Pass interference on Cromartie. He's playing through that injured hip and has not been much of a target here this afternoon.
Well, the one mistake he makes is he doesn't turn his head back to try and find the ball. You see, he never finds the ball there, and he's just a little bit early on Holmes.
So that is a 21-yard penalty that sets up a 1st and 10. Reece gets the call, finds the hole, and is able to slam his way inside the 25. David Harris finally took him down. It's an 8-yard gain.
Well, you look at the Raiders, Marv, after plays, and there's not a sense of urgency. You know, you gotta, if you're Matt McGloin, you gotta get these guys moving. You've got to tell the offensive lineman, run back to the ball. Everybody's got to play with more of a sense of urgency when you're behind in a game.
2nd and 3. McGloin completes for the first down. He has Rivera. Picked up 8.
If I'm Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, I'm telling McGloin, you better tell these guys to get moving. I mean, you got to score right here, Mar. There's still plenty of time for the Raiders.
It is kind of a lethargic setup with the no huddle, and they're just kind of milling around, and now they're set, wasting time off the clock. Now from the gun, the handoff goes to Reece, but cut back the other way, does get inside the 15. He's met there by Quentin Coples, the outside linebacker. 5-yard pickup for Reece.
At least you see McGloin now. He's calling the plays at the line of scrimmage, and you know, when you do this, you force Rex Ryan to play faster. He can't make as many substitutions. He can't dial up all those blitzes. It makes it more difficult for the guy on the other sideline as well.
2nd down and 5. Now Reece in a blocking situation. The throw is nearly intercepted by a leaping Antonio Cromartie. The pass intended for Andre Holmes.
Well, fool me once. You know, look at Cromartie. Now he plays press bail, and Holmes has got to fight back through this, but Antonio Cromartie, that's why I say, all things being equal, work away from Cromartie. The guy that has been quiet today has been D. Milner. And Marv, he has been picked on by every quarterback this year in the NFL. In fact, he got benched last week, and yet they have not gone after number 27.
And Cromartie did make the point during the week that he is feeling much better despite that injured hip. There's McGloin looking right. He throws end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Streeter, who was covered by Milner.
And what's happening now is Milner's getting help. You're going to see the safety is going to work over the top. So D. Milner can be a little more aggressive with Rod Streeter.
All right, 3:50 to go here in the 4th. They're down by 17. It's a 4th and 5. It is 4-down territory.
Now they're having a problem with substitutions, and they have to waste a timeout.
So the Raiders will have 1 timeout left after this one. Back in a moment. You see the flurries have begun, just as Rich's personal Doppler indicated. At about this time, you said 3:45. Here we are. Well, critical play here for the Raiders. They are down by 17. Still much time left. 3:50 to go. It's a 4th down and 5. Tywan Jones is in the backfield.
Last time we saw 4th down, the Jets brought pressure.
Now Jones flanks to the right. McGloin out of the empty backfield. Fires end zone. He has Streeter. And he is, let's see, no indication, just short. But it's a 14-yard pass play and a big play by the rookie quarterback, Matt McGloin, hooking up again with Rod Streeter.
Really great patience by McGloin. He's going to buy time. He keeps drifting to his left, and he's able to find Streeter.
It is a 1st down, 1st and goal at the 1. Reece is now in as the running back. The handoff to Reece. And he is short.
Well, we go back to McGloin on the 4th down, and looks to his right. It's not there. He's going to slide to his left, and he's just buying time. He makes an awkward throw across his body to Streeter to keep this drive alive.
And it looks like Reece lost a half yard, maybe a yard. 2nd and goal, just inside the 2. Tight end in motion. Reece again, and the Jets stop him again.
Man, they're just killing themselves with this clock now. I really was anticipating play action there on 2nd down.
This time picked up a yard. It'll be a 3rd and goal from the 1, and the Raiders use their final timeout. Well, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS stays locked in the playoff chase in one matchup. Tom Brady and the Patriots go up against Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins, while the Jets face Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Check local listings beginning with JB Dan, Coach, Bill Cowler, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines.
You know, I question why they ran it twice there, Marv. I mean, you're talking about the #1 run defense in football, and really the strength of their defense is that defensive line. And you also have the issue with the clock.
3rd and goal at the 1. Play fake on McGloin, who throws. It is incomplete. It was deflected. The pass intended for Janae Olawale, the fullback.
Well, here's the play action that I was anticipating on 1st or 2nd down. The Jets are ready for it, and McGloin's just trying to throw one up.
And the reaction of Rex drive, but they have another shot at it here. 4th and goal at the 1. Jets with a 37-20 lead, 2.5 remaining. The 2 running backs. Play fake. McGloin backing it up. He throws. Touchdown, Raiders. A tight end, Michael Rivera, with his 3rd touchdown catch of the season. So the Jet lead is now 37-26 with 2:24 to play.
Rivera, he's going to be working to his left, and now he's going to stop, and he's going to start working back. Really nice adjustment on the fly. We talk about the scramble drill. When you see the quarterback outside the pocket, you've got to work back at a friendly angle, and the tight end Rivera does just that.
16 plays, 78 yards. Raiders had it for 6 minutes and 34 seconds as Janikowski comes on for the extra point. And puts it through. A 10-point Jet lead.
Well, we've seen so much of the play action. Rivera, he's going to be running the corner route, and when it's not there, he's able to come back and go ahead and run it. Play action has been good protection for him. They pull the guard, and McGloin just keeps moving. The Jets have it covered up. Again, just a good play and a good reaction by Rivera.
Well, it hasn't exactly been Joe Namath against Ken Stabler and Darryl LaMonica, but some pretty good work by Matt McGloin and by Geno Smith this afternoon between a team that's 4-8 and a team that is 5-6. I should say 5-7. Raiders' last successful onside kick 4 years ago against the Houston Texans.
Well, they tried one last Thursday against the Raiders, or against the Cowboys, and it didn't work well. Actually, Sebastian Janikowski tried it last week without the tee. He just put the ball on the ground. It didn't work well. I'm sure they've spent plenty of time working on it since.
And here it is. Janikowski got it away, and it is recovered by the Raiders. Let's see how they sort it out. It appeared from our angle that it's Oakland ball.
Well, they had it, and then they lost it. Sebastian Janikowski did a fine job of bouncing it and getting it up way high in the air. They had the right people out there, and you're going to see the ball just sitting there. They weren't able to come away with it in the bottom of that pile.
And the Jets do come up with it.
Nick Bellore. Watch this thing skip a couple times. Look how high it goes. Well, you got a couple Raiders right there. Now once it hits the ground, Kevin Burnett, or Burnett had a chance, but he's not able to come away with it at the bottom of the pile.
I thought he had it, but it is Bellore who leads the Jets in special teams tackles, an outstanding special teams player, three-year man from Central Michigan. So with 2:21 remaining in this fourth quarter, Jets take over 1st and 10 at the Oakland 46-yard line. This is Ivory with a flag flying. So the play blown dead.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Left guard Brian Winters called on the penalty.
Well, look how high this thing goes off the screen. I mean, it's just what you want from your kicker, and you got the right players out there. You see Streeter was going for it, and where the ball is bouncing on the ground. And give Nick Bellore a lot of credit, a special teams standout for the Jets.
Looked like Kalen Burnett had it, but not able to hang on. This is Ivory. Again, very difficult to bring down as he goes for 8. And we're coming up on 2 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
You know, we've talked about the job that Chris Ivory has done today, and it's been a fine effort from Geno Smith. But that offensive line for the Jets have been busy. Done a nice job protecting Geno and open up some big holes on the ground.
2-minute warning, 10-point Jet lead. Coming up on the Subway postgame, join JV, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame show with 2 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter, and the Jets looking to hang on with this 10-point lead. Ivory in the backfield. Spin move by Chris Ivory. Picked up a yard on the play. Coming up for the Jets next week, playing at Carolina. Panthers at 9-3 coming into today. Back home for Cleveland, then at Miami. And the Jets, who will go to 6-7 unless there is a miraculous turn this final minute and a half. Very much alive in that wild playoff race. They'll stop the losing streak at 3. They'd also drop 4 of their last 5. It's a 3rd down and 7. And hole opened up briefly for Ivory. And we will have bonus coverage of the Browns and the Patriots. Cleveland in front 19-11 with just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The only problem in terms of playoff hopes for the Jets, does not look good in tiebreakers if it does come down to that possibility. Meanwhile, the injury-battered Raiders will fall to 4-9 as they look to finish out the schedule and look to next season, although they are not mathematically eliminated. As incredible as that sounds.
That is incredible, but unfortunately for the Raiders, Marv, 11 straight non-winning seasons. I mean, it's
First charge timeout, New York Jets. A 30-second timeout. With the game.
Jets take a timeout as their first timeout. For the Raiders, 3 straight losses, 5 of their last 6, and it'll be 13 straight losses for Oakland in the Eastern time zone. That dates back to 2009. Meanwhile, the snow continues to fall, kind of flurry form, which was predicted.
This is what we can anticipate in February for the Super Bowl, huh? Some weather like this.
They hope this would be pretty good.
Yeah, they really. This has actually been
Roger
fairly
Goodell,
mild.
Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, saying, "I will take this." So Ryan quickly on to punt with 30 seconds remaining. And it carries into the end zone over the head of Greg Jenkins, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. 44-yard punt. Quickly, so for Geno Smith, a dramatic turn from what took place last week, including the benching. Matt Sims coming on in the second half. Geno goes 16 of 25, 219 yards, a touchdown, an interception. And as you know from being through all kinds of experiences, at quarterback makes for a much more enjoyable week ahead.
Yeah, and as I said to him on Friday, unless your name is Dan Marino or Peyton Manning, you're going to go through some adversity early in your career. I think it's how you handle it, and I think Geno really handled it well this week. He didn't complain about the benching. He just came back to work, responded, and he's had a fine game.
McGloin is taken down by Quentin Coples, his 3rd sack of the season, and for the Jets, their 2nd of the day.
They might get one more playoff, maybe.
Matt McGloin's numbers 18 of 30, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, fires underneath. It is incomplete. Rivera not able to make the shoot top catch, and that will do it. Final score, Jets 37, Raiders 27. Coming up, the Subway postgame for Rich Gannon. Marv Albert saying so long. From the Meadowlands, you've been watching the NFL on CBS. Let's go to James Brown in our New York studios after this message.